If you know the routine really well, can you come forward just for the purpose of the exercise, just so I can see where we are?
My name is Alison Malone. I'm the principal of Stagecoach Theatre Arts in Leatherhead, and I've been running the business for approximately 7 years. I'm an ex-performer. I went to drama school. I left drama school and was very lucky in my profession. I was fortunate enough to do film, TV, radio, and a lot of musical theatre. I toured for the best part of 10 years. However, motherhood took hold. I got married and had a baby straight away, so it was a natural end to my career. After a couple of years, after I'd had my children, I was very happy being a stay-at-home mum for a while. But then I needed something theatrical, which sounds really sad, but I missed the stage. I had two friends who were Stagecoach franchisees, and they kept saying to me, you should do this, you'd be really good. I was a little hesitant because I didn't class myself as a businesswoman. But one night they came round, and several bottles of wine later, here I am.
As a young mother with 2 children, I was looking for somewhere for my son and my daughter as well to join where they could do dance, drama and singing all under one roof. There was no such place in those days. Very luckily, years later, I met a man who was a natural entrepreneur. His name was David Sprigg, and I shared with him my idea for a school that would have dance, drama and singing all under one roof. And he was very gracious, interested, and decided that he would like to help me and that we would be partners and that we would put the business together and see how it went.
We started in 1988 and we'd been running for 6 years before we started offering franchises in 1994. We recognised that any town of any size in the UK needed a Stagecoach school, and we felt that franchising was the correct model to go for because it combined our business experience with the passion and the love for children that the local franchisee has. We're now in 11 countries worldwide, but our home and our base is still the UK.
We were running 24 schools in 1993, and it was extremely hard work because although we had some joint venture partners in those days, we had 6 friends and relations who had said, hey, I want to do this too, it's a great idea. So they looked after the schools on Saturdays and we did all the paperwork. So David and I, with a couple of helpers, spent our entire life inputting data into, very basic in those days, I have to say, computers. And we decided we didn't want to spend the rest of our lives putting data into computers. So we decided to have a look at franchising. And that meant, of course, that each individual franchisee would input their own data. And we would spend our time managing a franchise business.
The thing about starting up your own business, I think, is that it can be quite lonely, and I'm actually very familiar with that because my husband owns his own business. He's a financial consultant, and because he's in the office on his own and he works on his own all day, I'm really aware of the fact that when he comes home, if he has an issue, the only person he can talk to is me, but I'm no good because it's financial services, doesn't mean anything to me. And with a franchise, because I already knew people that were running the business, I felt that I had a cushion so that when I started my business and I had an issue, I could go to them and go, this is happening to me, has it ever happened to you before? Or can you give me your advice? And so I felt like I wasn't on my own. I feel like I'm part of a big family.
Each school relies so much on the individual personality and passion of its franchisee, and whereby a manager can do a good job, they tend to leave it behind when they go home, whereas a franchisee lives it and breathes it. And furthermore, the children in their schools seem to become like their own children. And so I think that added incentive and passion and job satisfaction is what has made our business, our franchise business, so successful.
The good thing about Stagecoach is that children love it, parents love it for their children, and it's a wonderful opportunity for people who may have trained for a career in the performing arts to share that experience either as teachers or as franchisees.
I think the best thing about franchising is the whole umbrella network that you have. It's a big safety blanket which makes you feel secure because the business has been tried and tested, and therefore the franchisees can come into it knowing exactly the sort of financial implications, how the business works, and the whole model is all there represented for them.
I didn't think I had the business acumen to run my own business. But I felt like when I bought into a Stagecoach as a franchise, I didn't need to have it. They had it for me. They showed me the way. They gave me an instruction manual and went, there you go, that's what you have to do. And to be honest with you, if you follow it, it works. And I'm living proof of the fact that it works.
There's risk involved in starting any business, or whatever you do in life really with money can be risky. I think we all know that. There is less risk involved in buying a franchise than in starting a standalone business, simply because the franchisor, and in our case many other franchisees, have trod that path before you and have found that it is a successful business. So the secret is, if you buy a franchise, is to follow the rules.
You're your own boss in that you run the business, you employ the staff, you set your own seal on it. And when I visit Stagecoach schools, I can clearly see that the principal has set the stamp of their own personality on each school. However, you're following a system that just makes life easy for you.
Some of our franchisees obviously have expanded their business amazingly. They've got up to 7 schools. But I think generally they're all different. Every single franchisee is different in their own way. Obviously, they're running the school to the model and they're running it in the same way. It's always 3 hours. It's, you know, an hour of singing, an hour of dance, an hour of drama. But they all put their individuality onto it. So I suppose all of the schools are a little bit different in their own way.
Stagecoach.tv was launched in 2010. It's a website. It's basically a platform allowing schools, Stagecoach schools, and schools made for the network, such as Stagecoach, Her Majesty's and other big productions, to be shown on the internet. It's basically a show to showcase these features of Stagecoach. We get a lot of hits on our website, and it encourages people to sign up to Stagecoach, and it's a little window into what Stagecoach does and what Stagecoach is about, and it does come across as very exciting, and particularly young teenagers, they look at this and they say, well, that looks great, the school looks great, and it's also a way of me being on the internet and telling my friends and family.
I think it's very, very important for the franchise network to have somebody that they can talk to within the marketing team, because a lot of the franchisees that take on a business won't necessarily be trained in the latest marketing techniques. So they'll have come from performing arts background, and although they'll be absolutely fantastic at running their schools, they just need that little bit of extra support on how to market, what literature to use, the best marketing mix, the best online practice, and what is going to give them the highest return on investment and recruit students. So it is imperative that we keep on that training as well, and pass on the knowledge.
I have had an absolute ball doing what I do, and I'm happy beyond words that so many other people have had an absolute ball doing what they do, and I'm very proud of it. It was risky, it was very hard work. I had everything to gain and nothing to lose, and I've been a very lucky lady.
Stagecoach is pretty much a perfect example of the franchise model working well. The reason is that the sort of people who run Stagecoach franchises would not naturally be small business people. And so we're able to wed their enthusiasm and their passion for Stagecoach and for educating children with the business models and the business systems that we have developed, and the two together work perfectly.
It was the best thing I ever did for me. I did actually, I don't normally confess this, when I left the theatrical world, I did work in an office for a very short space of time. And even though I was training people in a telemarketing environment, which meant that I was effectively on stage because I stood in front of lots of people and talked, which is what I'd always done, although I wasn't singing at that point. I was desperately unhappy. And this has been aside from my children, this has been probably the best thing I ever did. It suits my lifestyle perfectly, and I'm sure there are lots of people that wouldn't say that, but for me it's been amazing, and I love it.